Hello everyone, this is Jamie Butterworth with Gamers at Large, episode number 61. Let's introduce our fellow gamers here. First and foremost, we have Ken. Dr.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Dr. Feelgood here, the guy with the smooth moves, the nice tunes, always in a gaming mood.
Alright, Mega Gamer Man, how about it?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Alright, and Red Fox.
It's me, Mr. Red Fox. I don't have any really cool things to say, but looking forward to this cast. It's been a while since I've been on one, so there we go.
Alright, well, since everyone's clearly pumped up, the four of us will probably have a fairly short cast tonight, but we'll see how it goes. So, let's start out with the topic everyone wants to talk about right now, which is Steam now charging for mods. And of course, it's come out that Bethesda is the one that set the reimbursement. So, of what you pay, 75% goes to Valve and Bethesda, and the creator gets 25%. So, I'm not too much of a PC gamer, but I've done plenty of it in the past. Anyone have any big thoughts on this one?
Me personally, no. I'm not a PC gamer at all.
I would say it's it's really bad, because it's like, the mods used to be free, so it was no problem. People used to create these things. Well, honestly, there should be an option whether the creator of the mod itself, can put a price on it or not. So, it's just stuff like that, but out of anything, I really don't I've gotten the mods I can, so whatever.
Well, I do have one thing I want to say, and this is not to spark any kind of flame war or whatever, or bring up bad memories, but my question is, how does this compare to what Nintendo is doing?
What do you mean?
I mean, in a sense, they're charging for something that used to be basically free, right?
What are you referencing exactly?
Well, Nintendo's whole YouTube thing, and then now you have this where they're charging for mods, something that basically used to be free, and creators could just do what they want. So, I mean, how do the two compare?
I don't really think the two do compare. That's the thing.
They really don't. That's really kind of because those are two different things.
Yeah, two very
they
different.
Really are.
Well, the way I was linking them, I mean, like I said, I know this may be reaching a bit. This was something that used to be free, and of course, it was a gaming community that was doing this, creating these mods and things like that. And now, in order to use said mods, there is now a price on it, so to speak. So something that was recently like this free, it was just a free domain. It's now just like, well, now, at least in this part, we're going to charge you guys for this.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not a PC gamer, so I definitely don't take my word as, law or whatever, or my opinion as something important, because I know it's not. But to me, in that sense, they're similar.
Right. So let me add another wrinkle to this story. So apparently Steam actually removed the donate button from these mods, so you can no longer donate directly to the creators. So basically, you have to pay. I mean, the creators can't make as much as they used to make off these mods. So, they're the ones putting all this hard work, but they're not the ones that are benefiting from it. And there actually is a lot of work that goes into making mods too. So, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say this. I do get a lot of mods, not through Steam, but through other modding communities. And from what I know a lot of work goes into it, but I mean, once again, much like anything else, follow the money. Okay? You've got a quarter of, for every dollar spent in this new initiative, a quarter of it goes to goes to the people actually doing the work, and then like 75% goes to Valve and Steam. Now, or sorry, Valve and Bethesda, if you're talking specifically about Skyrim. Now, you know, I mean, I love mods. I'll be frank with you. I love modding Fallout. I love playing mods of Fallout games and Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff like that. But I mean, of all the companies to kind of have an attitude like we're gonna charge you for mods because, like, Bethesda games have so many glitches in some cases that you need mods just to make them playable. Like, so basically, like, we're giving you money to fix a game that you should have fixed on your own dime years ago when it came out. Okay, that's interesting. The funny thing is that, like, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're getting. Like, I mean, I know that a lot of work goes into modding because I've tried it and I'm no good at it. And I know that you need to have, if not, if you're modding through the workshop system that Bethesda, the Skyrim editing tools that come with the game. So I mean, you know, where if you bought the game, you can basically create your own mods at that point. But I know, like, there's more involved with it than just besides just using the editing software. So I mean, if you're just creating like a sword or an armor set or something like that, I mean, I would say, why are you charging for that? I mean, I know you put time, but that's like, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, it feels kind of small time, but I've seen mods where it's almost as if, in some cases, more polished than a lot of expansions that Bethesda themselves put out. And for those people, I would say, yeah, they should charge for their work because they're basically putting in the work that a professional developer put in. In a lot of cases, these are amateur people or, you know, people who have other jobs and they do this for fun. And I mean, in some cases, even though it's fun for them, they put time, effort, energy, blood, sweat, tears into it. They should get reimbursed. I don't think it's fair that Valve and Steam would take 75% when someone else is doing that. But I mean, or sorry, Valve and Bethesda. But I mean, whatever. I mean, there are other ways of getting mods besides Steam. So I mean, if you absolutely have to have a mod for a Bethesda game, there's other avenues if you don't want to go through Steam.
Yeah, the thing for me is, you know, Valve gets so much praise, and there are Valve fanboys that think that Gaben can do no wrong. And the thing is, these same people will, you know, bitch about DLC and microtransactions and everything else, but Valve has kind of been in the forefront of that.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
DRM.
yeah,
And DRM.
exactly. Because, I mean, we've got all the hats in Team Fortress you can buy and trade and whatever else. You have the trading cards. Now we have the paid mods, and that's you know, that's on top of all the DLC and microtransactions that are for the normal games. So I don't think that Valve and Steam are quite as praiseworthy as so many people think they are. They more or less have a monopoly on the PC games market. Yeah, there's other competitors, EA's Origin and Good Old Games and places like that, but compared to what Steam is, they're just drops in the bucket.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think there needs to be a change in the PC game market, but I'm not much of a PC gamer, so I can't say exactly. So
The only good thing about Steam that I can say, like, in terms of their effect on the market, is that the effect that they have, like, they're a good counterbalance to most of the other third parties that exist in the PC market. Like, or they were to some extent. Like, Steam, like, okay, you want to get Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4, and you don't want to go through Ubisoft store or whatever, you can get it on a sale off of Steam. I guarantee this summer they'll have Steam sales where you can get those games, the full game with all the DLC and all the content for like $20-15, and like, you know, Ubisoft doesn't want you to buy their games for like that discounted a price, you know, I mean I like it when anytime that especially third parties that like to basically shaft consumers with games at full price that don't have full content. Like okay, yeah, but like I said earlier, DRM. I mean, you have to update Steam every sometimes two, 3 times a day. Because like I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I'll check my PC, like I'll turn it on, check my messages, wait for my coffee to start brewing. It's like Steam needs to update. I'm like, okay, update it, go to work, come home at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Steam needs to update again. I'm like, what the? What is this? And sometimes they're like, oh, we can't start this until you until you restart Steam, you can't use these features. I'm like, what the? Like, update it. Sorry, not restart. Update it. I'm like, oh god. But Steam is perfect. All hell, Lord Gaben.
Oh man. Anyway, let's move on. Now, a little while ago, not Hideki Kami. What am I thinking? Hideo Kojima was apparently removed from the title of Metal Gear, and now we have PT being removed from PSN. If you're not familiar, PT is kind of a Silent Hill prologue teaser thing you can download on PSN and play, and now they're in the process of removing it. So we kind of have a few different things we could talk about here. For one, what do you think the possibility of Silent Hill being canceled is? For two, is Hideo Kojima being ousted from Konami altogether? 3, is Konami on the rocks and prepared to go down a very steep hill?
I think it's probably a combination of all three. I think Konami is going downhill, especially with them releasing that full price demo they released. Not to start any, flame wars or not being a troll, but come on, that was a damn demo. And then with the whole, of course, I'm not going to pretend that I know for a fact that they fired him and or forced him to resign immediately and or he quit. I mean, I really don't know what is what. I don't. I heard about it. Didn't read much on it because I haven't cared for Konami or Kojima that much in years. But with all that coming together, man, it doesn't surprise me that with him leaving Konami that certain things would get canceled. We've seen this before. Even with Capcom, we haven't seen a Mega Man game. So it's just one of those things where I honestly believe it's a combination of the three. If you look at the state of gaming at this point, it's kind of a tie-in. A company like Konami is kind of going downhill because I'm pretty sure their profits are not where they will want them to be at this point.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And the only thing they got coming down the pipeline that I can think of is that new Metal Gear Solid game that comes out next year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
I'm sorry if anyone is angry about that. I don't want you to be angry about that, but I mean, in all honesty, do you see anything else coming from Konami that will really, really that we know that's coming out that will really just make fans go crazy? I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know what else, because, Konami these days is pretty much just Metal Gear, and then the occasional Silent Hill.
I mean, the only thing Konami got going for themselves is that people still know what the Konami code is. That's about it.
I hate to say this, but I'm just gonna say a list of IPs that Konami owns that they haven't touched in years, and if they did, it was not what fans really wanted. Gradius, Bomberman, Mystical Ninja, Poppin' Twinbee, Castlevania.
Did they also make some of the Turtles games or no?
Well, they used the IP. It's not like it wasn't like theirs to really do whatever they wanted to with it. But those were really good. They could re-release those arcade games if they. Well, I mean, I'm sure they could work out some deal to re-release those arcade games if they really put their minds to it. But it's Konami.
What about Zone of the Enders, man? They should have made a sequel to that.
Well,
No, not an HD remake.
no, I wasn't going to say an HD remake. I was going to say Kojima would have had to have spearheaded that. And I hate to say this, I know there are people who really like Hideo Kojima, but Hideo Kojima was VP at Konami. And he was one of the people who took Castlevania out of Koji Igarashi's hands, essentially Koji Igarashi's baby, and handed it over to a European studio, that Spanish studio called like Steam Train or Coal Train, something like that, and they made those two god awful God of Warvania games. So I mean, I'm just saying, what goes around comes around, and now payback. It hurts, doesn't it, Kojima? Doesn't it? It's not cool having your baby snatched from you and handed over to someone who's not going to treat it with any love or attention or care. But maybe when you were doing that Koji Igarashi and like talking Konami into canceling handheld Castlevania games that we could have been enjoying, oh well, we can't do this project. Let's have this guy working on mobile games. You reap what you sow. It comes back on you when you do stuff like that. And I mean, I'm sorry that it's sad that fans of Silent Hill feel this way, because I enjoyed Silent Hill. I really do. I enjoy 4 of them. I enjoy 4 Silent Hills. I don't enjoy the later ones, but I enjoy 4 of them. But it's sad. It's sad because I mean, it seems like now, unless something has Metal Gear in the title or PES Pro Evolution Soccer, you're not gonna get a game out of Konami. Nope.
Pretty much. Now, you kind of mentioned something there, HD remakes, and that brought something else to mind here. Gears of War apparently is on slate for an HD remake or HD collection.
Oh my gosh.
Directly after Major Nelson said there was going to be no Gears of War HD collection.
First of all, why is anyone listening to Major Nelson?
Yeah, true.
No, okay, and second of all, I will say this. At this point in the 8th generation, are any of us truly surprised? Especially looking at the lineup of games that are coming up and a lineup of games that were delayed. Are we really surprised?
No, not
This
at all.
generation has had, and I'm sorry to those out there that do own an Xbox One or a PS4. I don't hate any of you, and I don't hate those consoles. But if I had to be honest, you probably got it's probably a 60-40 split of HD remakes versus new and or original games, or even just sequels. It really is. I hear more about remakes and remasters. Well, I'm gonna say remaster games, because none of these games are remakes.
Right.
Remaster games than I hear about new games. And I'm sorry, quite frankly, that is sad. That instead of making a new Gears of War, which I'm pretty sure they probably are, I'm pretty sure they are.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, you want to say, let's remaster the first, I'm pretty sure 2, 3, they may even include Judgment in there. So, let's give the fans a Gears of War, a 4-game collection, like that worked out so well with Halo.
Right.
And like, I'm not trying to be a troll. I'm not being a troll, I promise. But if that didn't work out so well, why would you do this with Gears of War? Because it's also a shooter, and it's also a platform exclusive title, more or less. So, are you gonna really be so trusting at this point? And do you really want to play the same games you played last gen? Only this time it may, instead of being upscaled 720p, it will be native 720p, and they may give you 60 frames per second. Maybe. I don't care about that kind of shit, but maybe someone else.
Well, I will give it
I
this.
still got the other Gears of War's game, and I'm gonna say this: I have not completed Gears of War 3. I haven't. So I don't have an Xbox One, but having the original, I see no purpose in even buying an HD remaster.
What,
Because
dude?
the one I have is in high definition.
You didn't save Dom for the umpteenth time?
I just
Now you can do
somebody
it in
else go.
HD. Yeah, okay. I understand. Okay, I know some people might get upset with them announcing another remaster, but looking at it from strictly a business point of view, okay, Microsoft right now is the Xbox division is hurting. They're not selling quite as many units as they want to, and the ones they are selling, they're selling at a loss. So, and they aren't getting the type of love that Microsoft got on the 360. So from third parties. So basically, like they have to start to ramp up and start to get some first party sales going. So they got to go with what they got, and what they got is Gears of War and Halo. And I mean, personally, I'd rather see them do remasters of Gears of War and Halo rather than more Banjo. Like, which would you rather see? A remaster or an HD redo of Gears of War, like the whole collection 1 through 4. Well, Judgment, which I'm just gonna call 4 just for the sake of of argument. Or Banjo Kazooie HD, Nuts and Bolts HD. I mean, which one? Conquer Live and Reloaded HD.
Dude, I'll tell you what I would like to see over a Gears of War remaster. I would like to see a Blinks to Time Cat remaster before I like to see Gears of War. Do you want to know why I want to see Blinks the Cat?
I would just like to see Blink's return, period, because I love Blinks. Blinks was a great mascot. Had interesting games.
Yes, but I would rather see that because that's something that has been lost to us for the last 10 plus years, I think. When's the last time we seen Blinks the Cat? Was it the original Xbox or was it the Xbox 360?
It was the original.
Yeah, it's the original Xbox. See, that game would make sense to remaster because we haven't seen it. That game is worse than Mario in a sense and more deserving because it actually missed a whole 7 generation. We had it to 6, none of it to 7, and here we are in the 8th. We get one Mario game at least once every generation, but Blinks the Cat, I mean, gosh, we had him once and he was gone.
Jeez. Yeah.
So, with that said, I'd rather see that game get remastered than Gears of War. I mean, okay, people, to those out there listening, look at all the games that you have on the PS4 and the Xbox One. What percentage of those games are a shooter in one way or another? Whether it be first person, third person, cinematic experience shooter, I don't give a shit what you want to label it as. I mean, it's still a shooter. Do we really need one more? Even the upcoming games are shooters.
Yes. Look, you can never have too many shooters because that's what gamers want. That's what they continue to
Red,
buy.
shut up. Do not buy.
Every single they sell. They keep on selling, even though the sales are going down. People still continue to buy them. I mean, what else can we do?
Man, FPS is starting to mean first piece of shit. To me, I'm sorry. I'm an avid Call of Duty player, at least I used to be, and Battlefield. But I can tell you, after playing Call of Duty from the first Modern Warfare all the way up to Black Ops 2, even before that, I was getting sick of it. It's the same. How many ways can you change up a shooter? And the only one I see changing things up, hate to say this, not a fanboy, but Splatoon.
Yep.
But out of all those, but how many shooters does the Wii U actually have? You got Zombie U, we got Black Ops 2.
I wouldn't even say that.
Shooter, though?
I wouldn't even qualify Zombie U as a shooter because if you're doing a lot of shooting, you're playing it wrong.
Well, you know you're right because that game don't even have enough ammo to fill a clip. So it's not even a shooter. So we got Black Ops 2, we got Call of Duty Ghosts, and is there any other shooter besides? I mean, Splinter Cell, stealth action / shooter.
Right.
I can't think of any other shooter out there. And you mean to tell me that Xbox is gonna have Battlefield, Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, and now Gears of War HD? Come on, man. No, I forgot Titanfall.
Yep. I mean, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean that's what you're. I mean,
I know it's hard to finish a sentence, but
if
try.
no,
The
if
sad thing is, we lost all of our mascot, all the great gaming mascots in the Great Mascot War of '05. You know, R.I.P. Blinks and Billy Hatcher.
if you own a PS4 or Xbox One or even a PC at this point, you're gonna see like PC not quite as much, but still the big games on PC. People are like, man, I play Call of Duty, I play Black Ops, I play Battlefield. I'm like, come on.
I'm sorry, but my trigger finger hurts.
Not
My
just that.
right index finger is still sore from the thousands of hours I poured into Call of Duty over the past decade.
No, these
I'm sorry.
games are running together. It's kind of like have you ever had a job where you had to travel around and in like small towns and the stuff starts to run together. You're like, okay, go into this little conference room, give my speech, go get in my car, drive someplace else, or get on the bus, get on the plane. It's starting to run together. Really, if you showed me Battlefield 4, Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, well, not Call of Duty, like all this stuff starts to look the same to me. And I know people who are fans of these genres like, no, this one's different because the gun makes a different sound when you shoot it, and this one's got different fatigues, and this one does this. I'm like, but really, just like if I was walking past someone playing this game and just took a glance, it all looks the same to me. Now,
I'm sorry. It even goes worse than that to me. These damn games have the same default controller setup.
yeah.
Right trigger is how you shoot. Left trigger is how you aim down the sights. Maybe A or B is how you jump and or crouch. And X and Y is how you would change your weapon or whatever. And of course the top shoulder buttons is how you use, like other weaponry, or should I say special, like accessories and things like that. And honestly, I'm just tired of I made a pledge. After Black Ops 2, I told myself, if Call of Duty does not really move forward and say, hey, we've given them the same game for the last decade, it's time that we now include actual structural or environmental damage. It's time we did something different. Let's change the formula a little bit. Let's keep the things people love and just add to it more and more. And when I didn't get that,
Yeah.
I said no. And here's the reason why. I'm not sure if you guys played this game, but it's one of my favorite shooters of all time. Red Faction Guerrilla.
That's a damn good game.
Red
It was a
Faction.
third-person shooter. It was on the Xbox, I think the PS3 too. And basically, that game was a bit of Gears of War, but it had complete environmental damage. Meaning, I personally have seen someone that I was shooting at run into a building, and I took out my sledgehammer, took out the support beams, and brought the building down on him, and it said, you have killed such and such.
Yep. Wasn't that open world as well, though?
It was also open world, completely open world.
Yeah.
And most of the maps there was one map in particular where it had like 10 buildings on it, and before the match was over, all you saw was a flat level playing field because people were blowing shit up.
Yeah.
And they also had special attacks, should I say special attacks. Like one pack was called a Rhino pack, where you would be invincible, run right through a building like you were an actual Rhino. And they had a flight pack, things like that. Like that game was unique, but it wasn't popular. And guess what? It was made by THQ.
Ugh, man.
RIP Red Faction Guerrilla.
THQ used to make good stuff, though.
Yeah, and to me, just having another shooter in Gears of War HD, it's like they're not even changing anything up. It's just like Halo Master Chief, where they made this promise it's going to be 1080p, 60 frames per second. Lies. Not that I care, but lies. It's the same game we've all played before, but now they cut the service back on, and we can now play those games and new breathtaking graphics. It's still the same game, people. Please do not support this or buy into it unless you have not played the other ones.
Well, I've only seriously played and gone through and actually gotten the multiplayer 2 Call of Duty games. I've played a single player for Modern Warfare and other ones, but for me, I need something different. Give me an open world Call of Duty game. You can have it be set in the future. have it be like you're a group of mercenaries, and have it be an open world with. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be the deepest story. You could rip off any action movie if you wanted to, but I mean, for the love of God, give us some freedom in this open world. Like, don't make it, well, let me just follow this map arrow and this arrow on the map and get there, and then something will happen, or some guy in front of me, Lieutenant, follow me and follow him. I mean, do something different, please.
You
For
know
the
what,
love of
Jamie?
all things holy.
This news about Gears of War 3 HD makes me scared. You know what I expect to hear within the next 12 months.
Tell me.
I'm not being a troll. How much you want to bet? Either it's going to be one of the first 4 titles. I'm thinking they're going to remaster Call of Duty 2 or Call of Duty 4.
Uh,
I can see Activision saying, "Guess what? We're going to bring back one of the greatest selling titles in our franchise ever, which was, it is a fact, Modern Warfare 2."
yeah, there's actually currently a movement to get Modern Warfare 2 remastered.
And what's so funny is the servers on that game are still active. They don't track the. I mean, when you log on to it, it doesn't say how many people are playing, but the servers are still full of people. I've actually played about a month ago, and I got like a full game every time.
Right.
Heaven help us if they remaster that game.
If they remaster the game, that's their reason to kill the old servers,
Yep.
bring back all those players, and it's like.
Charge people for DLC. Hey, you want this old map pack? Hey, $15 for 4 maps and 1 gun.
Man, I'm sorry, but I have my personal rule. This is my opinion. You cannot remaster something, even though the last generation, most of the games were not natively in HD. I don't think any of them were. Actually, I think they were all like 540p natively. But you cannot remaster something that was just in the previous gen on a console that you still actually support to this day. You just can't. I'm pretty sure Gears of War servers are still active and still got players on them.
Probably.
Like, remaster Phantasy Star Online. Do that.
My rule of thumb for remasters is this. It's got to be at least 2 gens removed. So that either that, or it's a game that was just criminally underrated, or just didn't do well, and like it was a good game, and you feel that more people should be exposed to it. But I mean, if literally I can go and buy like a $99 Xbox 360 and play these games from like last gen, you don't need to do a remaster. If these systems had backwards compatibility, it wouldn't even be a point. I mean,
Didn't at some point in the last 6 months they gave away like Gears of War Judgment on the games for gold?
yeah, I mean
It was free.
I'm just saying that it's getting really monotonous. It's getting really monotonous. How many times do I have to run around as the bald-headed white protagonist, or closely shaven, shorn head, close protagonist with a 5 o'clock shadow and a gruff voice? And he's gruff because he talks gruff, and he's, you can look at him. He's been through some things, and he runs around with a gun shooting things. Just do something different, for the love of God. Give me Ratchet and Clank. I'd rather have a Lombax or Blinks the Time Cat. Something, just for the love of God, not the white guy with.
Oh, Red, you mentioned something, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably seen this. Have you seen that meme that's probably about a month old, where it shows games of yesterday, and it shows like Crash Bandicoot, Mario, Sonic, and then it says, look at the protagonist of today, and then it shows like all these white guys are like shadows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? That is actually sad. None of these characters are really even fictional anymore. They actually take some guy's picture off a damn entertainment magazine having a rough day and makes him a new protagonist.
And these dudes always look really buff. It's like, I'm 50 years old, but I've got the body of an in-shape 25-year-old. Look at that. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, pretty much every protagonist these days is like just Joel from Last of Us in various states of being shaved.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, here's Joel in Bioshock. Now here's Joel in Uncharted. Now here's Joel in whatever the fuck other game.
You
Here's
know what?
Joel in Full Military Fatigue.
I could take Joel in Bioshock, not Bioshock, in the original Bioshock, because the dude never talked and you never saw his face. You just, you knew he was Caucasian. That's about all you knew. But I mean, my God, and everything else after about what was it, 2006? It's the same guy. It's the same guy in every single game.
Jeez. All right. I think we'll be talked out on that one.
Yeah, let's move on. That's just sad. That brings me down for the day.
Yeah. Well, looks like Gamerman dropped, so it's just three of us. The three amigos of Gamers at Large. Sure.
Okay. All right.
All right. So who wants to talk Xenoblade? Anybody?
I think we can all talk about that.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm not gonna have a life when this game comes out. Like literally, I'm just gonna on the weekends. I can't do it during the week, but on the weekends, I'll just be playing this game and nothing else.
I can already see that. I mean, I played countless RPGs, but I can already see that it's probably going to take about a good 24 hours of playing this game just to understand everything on the screen and what's happening. Not because it's complex, but there's so much stuff that affects the game. Like the icons, the meters, it's like the entire, HUD display is just like, man, it's like a lot of damn information. It's almost like playing Steel Battalion.
Yeah. And
I mean, not that it's hard, because they did explain it, pretty well. But it's like, how you just see a wealth of information that is all important, but you're like, damn, like even with you explaining it, I still don't see or understand what the hell you're doing or how it affects your next attack.
well, the frightening thing about this game, from what I've seen and what they've shown of it, is that if you played Xenoblade Chronicles, only on the surface does this game share that battle system. Yeah, there's similarities, but then they were like, oh, you thought that was complex. Because once you got farther into Xenoblade Chronicles, it got like, dang, I really need to know positioning and who to aggro, when to cool things down, how to set up my party and what to equip. This game has taken that and said, oh, well, we're gonna increase it exponentially. Boom. Here's some mechs too while we're at it.
Meanwhile, I'm over here having a nerd orgasm over all that information everywhere.
Dude, and like how he was really like jogging from one place to the next, and you really, I mean, even though you saw the environment change, you just like, man, like people talk up how big their games are, but this dude was running and running and running, and I barely even seen the horizon pop over the field. It's like, oh wow, like this game really is as massive as he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he's only even getting to another location because he damn teleporter had to load a different save file. I'm like, this game is going to murder anyone's life. Like, I'm going to have to be careful. I may actually get divorced. I mean, looking at this game, I was impressed because I played Xenosaga. I actually own Xenogears, and I love those games. I sunk hundreds of hours into them. But looking at this, it's like this story looks very deep, and to me, it wasn't cliche either. Most games, they take the easy way out, where it's just like, hey, somebody attacked us, we fought back, Earth got damaged in the process. But this is like, we weren't even part of the war. We were just thrown in between it, and now they're looking for us. It's like, that was actually a nice little twist you put on that. It really was.
I will say this much about that concept, because I know what you're talking about. I found it humorous how, like, the Earth is destroyed, billions of people dead, and they have this new, like, this little colony on this planet, and some guy's like, there was a massive genocide, billions of people died, but before we do anything, I'm gonna need my car, a pool in the back of my house, and my mochaccino latte. Because you look and you see the neighborhoods and they got pools in the back. I'm like, what? I mean, if the
to me, it was kind of
thinking about that.
It was kind of reminiscent of Titan AE.
Yeah.
I mean, on a much larger scale, of course, but it's like, wow, I mean, if they were embroiled in some war, I mean, or caught in the middle of it, accidentally, I mean, I could see them making preparations. I'm like, but that had to have taken years to come up with.
Exactly. Some guys, the Earth's been destroyed. What are you gonna bring? Man, I'm gonna need that Mustang. But don't you want supplies? This Hollow Family album that has all of our pictures? No, 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 no. I need that Mustang and the plans for that pool to go in the back of my house. I don't know where I'm going. What if the planet we get to doesn't have water? It's no point. We'll bring it with us.
But I like the fact that when he said that basically the story, like, you've only been here for a couple of months, so you know nothing. And you're trying to explore what's on the outside. You're trying to explore that world and find out what's going on and what's in it, how life is there. So it's not like they've been there for years and they make the game feel like you're still a newbie. It's like you really are a newbie there.
Yeah.
So I get that. I can appreciate it. And to me, like, I know, I mean, I'm not trying to turn this into something like that's a habit, but looking at this game, can you imagine any DLC they may even build for it down the line?
I don't think they're gonna need it.
They may not need it, but I can see them doing it.
Even if they
I can see this game not coming out again for at least not until the next console.
Even if they add DLC, I'll probably get it just to support the developer, the development team that made it, Monolith Soft, because I haven't played a bad Monolith Soft game yet.
That's true. I haven't either.
I mean, even before, okay, Xenosaga, Xenogears, great game. Baten Kaitos, awesome. The sequel, not so much, but I mean, it was solid. It wasn't perfect, it was solid. But then you get Xenoblade Chronicles, which is awesome. You get their handheld games they made, awesome. I mean, they make good games. I mean, they just make good games. I mean, there's nothing else I can really say except, I mean, this game is going to consume my life. If you don't hear from me from a while, it's not because I don't care, but I'll be busy playing this game.
I am pissed off that I thought we would have gotten a release date, or at least a release month. I still think it's going to be July, because to me that seems like the perfect time to release it, given the translation required, things like that. Because I think Woolly World comes out in June, right?
I think he moved that to the fall.
I thought Mario Maker was the fall, was September. I mean, I could be wrong, but I firmly believe it's going to come out in July. I could be wrong, but I think it will. Because by that time, if the game, it dropped in Japan, is it this week or has it already dropped?
I think it's either already dropped or it's coming this week.
Yeah, it's coming
so for
this
the next
week.
2 or 3 months, you're going to see tons of content online, tons of spoilers. So they won't have too much longer to drag this out. They really won't. They may as well just bring the Japanese port over here and just have English subtitles available.
Well, I mean, they had English subtitles. I mean, I'm pretty sure right now I think the reason Nintendo had the the event, that wasn't direct. The event on Friday was so that because I'm pretty sure maybe 2-3 months ago the Treehouse started translating this game. Maybe even before then. Maybe like 4 or 5 months ago even. But I mean, this game seems like it's going to be very text heavy. So, I mean, Well,
I'm a bit curious. Why didn't this game get a worldwide simultaneous release like Mario Kart and a few others did? I mean, to me, it would have made sense to do so.
Localization, dude.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mario Kart needed it.
Yeah, but Mario Kart didn't need the level of localization that an RPG does. I mean,
True.
I mean, you're just not Mario Kart. Okay, you translate the menus. The characters don't really say English stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, it's you're talking about a minuscule amount of translation, whereas Xenoblade Chronicles X. I mean, you're talking maybe thousands of lines of dialogue. Maybe even 1 million. you know. And I mean, that's just for the normal stuff they say, you know. I mean, look at Xenoblade Chronicles, the original Xenoblade Chronicles. I mean, that game had tons of uh, dialogue and text and stuff. So, I mean, you know.
I guess it's understandable. I mean, to me, I guess it just my question is like, okay, if the localization was not ready for other countries like Europe and America, why not just hold off the whole release?
Uh,
I
because,
understand they
well,
need a game in April for, but that's not like a worldwide game.
no, I understand what you're saying, and the reason I think they released it in Japan first is because Japan's the smallest market for them for this game. Like the Wii U is like, I mean, it's decent size for Japan considering the home console market there, but it's going to be their test case because this game's going to have online. You'll be able to form unions, and that's going to be they're going to test drive it in Japan, and then they'll know what they'll have to watch out for once they get here, or to Europe, or to America, the other parts of the market, or at
Now,
least I
does the
hope
game
that's the
have an
case. It could be
online
just because
co-op?
they're lazy. I don't know.
Does the game have an online co-op or not? Or is it like online quests?
Um, from what they said in the Japanese direct, they said that you can like join a union with 32 other players, and like share like stuff, and then on top of joining a union with 32 other players, like you can recruit those people's avatars into your party, but you can also have like 4-player co-op like online. I mean, that's
Nice.
yeah. I mean, like for that, I'd rather them test it in Japan, work out the bugs, the kinks, know what they got to work on, know what work any issues. Because if they try to do that simultaneously across multiple people, I'm gonna be mad if it doesn't work because we've all seen what happens when someone releases a heavily online game where the multiplayer just does not work or isn't working as well as it should. You know,
Master Chief.
yeah, I was about to say Master Chief Collection, and I mean, sure you can solo this game, but Nintendo fans, we very rarely get online games that have bennies. So when we have that, as close to an approximation of that as we can, you want to kind of, you want to you don't want to mess up. You want to come out the gate strong, or not, whatever.
Oh, very true, very true. All right, so let's move on to some questions because it looks like we've actually had a lot of them submitted here.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot by one person at least, and we have a few by some other people. So let's get on the list here.
All right.
All right. So first we got Loopcio. Question for y'all: do you folks think the YouTube video game scene is full of cranky Kongs complaining about how good games used to be? There's always been bad games and shit companies. The problem is now that the market is much bigger than when we were young.
Um, I do agree with that. I mean, I'm one of the people that complain about how games used to be. I am because I've been gaming for nearly 3 decades. So I know how good it used to be, and I know how shitty it has become. Um, but I will also say this: I still enjoy gaming today. I really do. And although the market, you could say the market is far more saturated now because there are more gamers than it was 15, 20 years ago, at the exact same time, can you really call today's gamer an actual gamer? Because most people play because it's a popularity. They're not really in it for the gaming. They're in it because it's cooler. So to me, they're not really gamers. They're just more like gaming spectators, so to speak.
Trend followers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That a friend of a friend of a friend that's on your
Yeah.
Facebook friends list, and you're like, I never speak to this person, but somehow we're friends. Like, how is that? Like, to me, the amount of actual gamers out there that play and enjoy games and not just loyal to a single piece of plastic, those are still very few in number. Very few.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about a person that plays games. Period. Of course, you're talking about your mobile Candy Crush player to the person that's playing indies on the PS4 to whatever the case may be. You Call of
Yeah.
Duty players. Yeah, it's plenty of game
Gamers.
players out there, but I wouldn't really call them gamers. No
Well,
offense to anyone, but I wouldn't call them gamers.
well, the thing is, the thing is what Dr. Feelgood said, and you also have to keep in mind that gaming has changed. Like when we were kids, we played games because they looked good. Because most of the time they didn't have a demo. You had the box art, maybe the back of the box with a few screens. You're like, okay, this looks good. Or you had the gaming magazine. It's like, well, this game looks good, and then you'd play it. Now you have a lot of people playing games because their friend likes it. They might not even like the game, but their friends play it and they want to play with their friends. So that's what they get into. There were bad games back then, but I mean, we didn't make excuses for bad games back then. Like, we were like, this game is terrible. I mean, we played it because if we complained and our parents bought the game for us, like, there'll be hell to play. But we in the privacy with our friends, this game is terrible. Sometimes we'd get one over on our friends. We trade games with them. We give them the bad game. They trade a good game with us. We'd be like, we got the better end of this deal. But now, I mean, there were bad games then. It's just you didn't have the internet to contend with, so not everyone knew, like, this game is terrible, don't buy it. Like, game companies, they could come out with a bad game then, and it wasn't as ubiquitously known that it was bad. Now, people are like, oh, this is all terrible. So I guess the perception is that gaming was better then. I guess in some ways it was because we were ignorant about a lot of stuff. But, I mean...
It just seems to me that people actually enjoy talking about games, or should I, and other flip side of that is that they enjoy talking shit about games. More people, especially on YouTube, they enjoy talking more about games than play. A lot of people, especially on YouTube, talk about games they never even owned or played. And they talk as if they have played and beat the game. So that's the problem I have. Like, for example, I may not like the concept Evolve is putting out there. I may not like a game that, to me, it seems like the game's worth $20 and the rest of the game is being sold for an additional $100+. I don't like that concept, but I won't say the game sucks because personally, I don't have an Xbox One or PS4 and I have not actually played the game. But I can definitely say I don't like the concept that it represents. So, nowadays, people just say something sucks just because everyone else is saying it sucks. They won't play a game because their friends are not playing it. We all have plenty of people that we know in one circle or another that they want to buy a multi-platform game and they choose the one that their friends own. Like, in other words, they have more PS4 friends than Xbox One. They'll buy that game for the PS4, even though they may personally, even though it may say that this version is actually better or runs better, they'll buy the version that their other friends have so they can actually play with them. So nowadays, people are just buying games just to socialize. It's like, you don't have to buy a game to socialize. You just join a damn social network, Facebook.
No, man, you got to go outside, get fresh air, hang out with people, in physical contact with people. I don't know. I mean, like I said, gaming just. I mean, the parameters of gaming have changed. A lot of things do stay the same. I mean, like, what you like as a gamer. Like I haven't bought a Madden game since 2001, I believe. And like, because it doesn't change. It's the same thing year after year after year. And, it's like at a certain point, it's like, what you're going to get. It's like, no. I remember hearing about Evolve. I was like, oh, this game sounds like it's going to be basically Left 4 Dead, except in space with like space monsters and junk. And then I heard about the DLC. I'm like, this doesn't sound very good. And then I played it at my friend's house. I was like, this is Left 4 Dead with space monsters, but if you want the extra things that you would just get for free for Left 4 Dead, or buy an expansion, or get a mod or something, they're charging you for it. And I don't know why people were so upset. The developer said, we built this entire game around the concept of DLC.
Yep. And I think the thing for me is a lot of us do have rose-colored glasses on looking at the past for gaming. I mean, there was a lot of great stuff, but there was also a lot of horrible shit.
Yep. Lester the Unlikely. Well,
I
that's
mean,
like
we could honestly sit here all night naming terrible things.
terrible games we bought and thought were great.
Yeah, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit.
Yeah.
The thing is, we've got a lot of crap these days, but overall we have a higher average. I'd also have to say we have higher highs and lower lows
Yeah.
overall in gaming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a hell of a question, because it definitely gets us talking. But, I mean, there are a lot of negative people that just, for some reason, ignore the past completely. Or look at it the wrong way, should I say.
Or people magnify. I mean, like I said, there was bad things. There was shovelware on Nintendo consoles, even despite their you can only release so many games per year under this label. There was shovelware on those systems. I mean, there's
Fighting Force.
No, there's going to be shovelware on everything. Basically, believe it or not, if a console or handheld is successful, it's going to have shovelware. Because someone's going to say, even if I sell like 500,000 of this game, I'm going to turn a tidy profit because the numbers are so high that if I sucker in, like if you have a 50 million install base and only 0.5% of that buys it, boom, you made a profit. If it's a game that's cheap to make or a re-release of a game from 2 gens ago.
All right, so let's move on to the next one here. We've got a softball question here from Neil the Humble Brown Forest Wolf. Question for everyone: do you believe that Nintendo, for their sheer smarts in business and game development, will outlive Sony and Microsoft and any other competitor 30 years down the line?
Oh, is that a trick question? Hell yes. And I will. And here's my answer to that. Nintendo has done something that we all should learn how to do in life. They learn how to sustain themselves with their own product.
Yep.
If all the third parties today said F Nintendo, Nintendo would be like, okay,
Yep.
like we can go ahead and get started on this Mario game. We said we weren't going to make it to the next console.
Yep.
We got other games coming out this year. We just opened up some new development studios. We just signed these people on with us. We have our own media / gaming magazine or digital magazine that sits with directs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, honestly, we can support ourselves without you. We were doing this to benefit you mostly as an apology for what we did in the past, but we can go back to those days if we want to. Because to me, they realize the one thing. When you have something no one else could get unless they invest in you, you can never really fail. Especially when it's offered at a fair price. Like, for example, you look at Sony and the Betamax. It was a superior product, and it was theirs. But the price they sold it at, that's why VCR just completely destroyed it. And even right now with Blu-ray is doing okay, but it's not doing exactly what Sony wanted it to do, which is become the basic medium of all of society.
Like DVDs were before Blu-rays, and VHS
like
before
DVDs became the standard if you wanted movies digitally, period. People still buy DVDs today. But if you want a Mario game, if you want Zelda, whether it be new or old, you can probably emulate the old ones. But if you want the current stuff, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, any other IPs, there's only one way to get it, and you must invest in Nintendo. And as long as you do what the others don't, as long as they keep doing what the others haven't done, which is keep their IPs, they will always be in business. Always. It's like when you make your own recipe at a hole-in-the-wall restaurant. Yeah, it may not look like much, but there's only one place people can come get that recipe, and that will keep folks coming at your door day in, day out.
Yep. I have a question for Neil the Humble Frown Forest Wolf. Basically, your question is that do I believe Nintendo, for their fierce smarts in business and game development, will outlive Sony and Microsoft and any other competitor 30 years down the line? I have a question for you. If Nintendo just said, forget it, we're leaving, who's going to take their place? Legitimately.
They're the only gaming only company. They only make games. The rest of them have made games and everything else.
I mean, look at the emotional response that Nintendo gets. People get from their games. I mean, I don't care if you love Sony IPs or Microsoft IPs. Very few people are going to have that type of response. Are going to feel like that little kid again at Christmas, opening up a present. Oh my God, I got the SNES. Oh my God, I got the N64. So if Nintendo leaves, I mean, who's going to take their place as that type of market leader in terms of ideas and IPs?
And
No one.
innovation.
And innovation. No one. No one. I mean, at this point, I know some people are going to say, well, there's a difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One. Really, they're the same console.
They really are.
Okay?
If you look at the basic numbers, 8 cores,
Yeah.
8 gigs, it's like they
A lot
really
of the
are
same
essentially the
game.
same damn thing.
A lot of the same games. The exclusives, by and large, unless you're a fan of specific types of gaming, are not very, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. whatever you like. I mean, they're basically the same console, aside from certain slight differences in how the consoles utilize their processing power, and a few minor issues. Generally speaking, they're 2 third-party consoles with some minuscule first-party support. So really, it's like you just got to choose which one you want to get. Do you want a controller with a little glowing light? Do you want a controller that still takes AA batteries? What do you want?
And here's even further evidence that they are basically the same console, and I think they actually planned this together. They both had plans of launching with a camera. Microsoft did launch with the Kinect 2.0.
Yeah,
Sony originally planned on launching the PlayStation camera with the PS4,
Yep.
but when Microsoft got that backlash, Sony changed their shit up at the last minute.
Smartest move Sony has ever made.
But they were supposed
that
to
was the
launch
smartest move
with the camera, and a lot of people do not know that. When they made their original announcement for the PS4, they said it would include the camera. They said that.
And they dropped
They
it.
took
And
it
that was
back. And can you even find it in stores now? Like, that light on a controller is useless.
It is, but I mean, my point is that there's no one to really take Nintendo's place, and so yes, Nintendo will be here as long as they continue to do things their way, and the Nintendo way. You watch that awesome movie with Kevin Costner and Sean Connery. And Sean Connery's like, we're gonna do this the Chicago way. Nintendo's going to do things the Nintendo way. And it might not be the way everyone wants them to go, but it's best for them. So they're going to do what's best for them.
The only people that could even potentially take their place if Nintendo was to drop out and leave is Sega.
Yeah, and Sega...
Because they were a gaming company.
At this point, Sega's like an old vet who has a leg missing and on crutches and sitting in the corner in a chair. It's like, come on, man. Just sit there and here's your pipe, go get your government check, your benefits, go back to school, get yourself together.
Okay, that's just bad. You have to go that far.
Well, after Sonic Boom, come on.
Okay, what's the next question?
Anyway, alright, the next question we've got here, scroll a little bit here. It's weird, the app just mixes everything up. Let's scroll down. Alright. Lupicio asks again, do y'all think the overabundance of Sony re-releases is due to them liquidating all their studios last generation? Lightbox, Incognito, Studio Liverpool, etc. Now all they have is a handful of studios, not enough to put out software at a regular pace.
I think that's part of it because, it's easy to take, a PS3 game and copy the code over and port it in and just say, oh, could you put this in an algorithm that adds more pixels? Because people keep saying, well, Nintendo did it with Wind Waker. That's not a HD remaster. That is an actual remake. They reworked that game to work better for the Wii U. They incorporated new features. And besides taking a game that was in what was it 480p?
40p, 60 frames.
480p, and
No,
they
30
took it
frames.
to
30
1080p
frames.
natively. So it's like
Yeah.
that was beyond an HD remaster. That was completely remade. What we're seeing from Sony and Microsoft are actually just take these old
Ports.
games and add more details, but
It's
no more
ports.
features, nothing
And they don't
extra.
even add new content. I mean,
No.
that's the thing that gets me. I'm like, if you're going to re-release something, I mean, you've got more powerful hardware. Do something new. Add some new content. Do something. Even if you're not adding like direct like story content or gameplay content, add something. I mean, use that glowing light on the PS4 controller. Do something. But no, just
It's the exact same game you played last generation. So
yeah,
basically, even me personally, I can have the other two consoles, but I'm thinking if I got an Xbox 360 and a PS3, I don't need the other two because most of the games that come out, like Mortal Kombat 10, are also on those systems. So,
yeah.
and to
So
answer the question, it is killing them because honestly, they can't afford to do anything else.
well, I
Uncharted is
mean,
delayed, but if you think about it, what else does Sony, first party wise, just trying to say exclusive wise, what else do they have up their sleeve?
nothing. They like, and here's the thing: even the studios that they have left, a lot of the people, a lot of the creative talent for those studios, the people that
They
really
left.
made things happen, they're gone. So what you have left is like the studio name and some people who got hired there as temps and now have permanent jobs, but they aren't like the core creative force behind what that studio was. So,
So
I
basically,
mean,
what they're going off of, what they're living off of, strictly is the same thing the PS4 has been selling off of: reputation, name
yeah,
brand recognition, which basically leads to sales. Because people are thinking like Uncharted 4 is going to be
the
so much
bomb.
better than Uncharted 2 and 3. It's like you don't
Yeah,
realize that the people that did Uncharted 4, that wrote and designed it, that core team is gone. So now all it basically is another Uncharted by title, but not really by
yeah.
content. At least so much as I've seen.
It's the same. Well, I mean, I'm not like okay. I don't. These people haven't produced a game yet, so I don't know if this game is good or bad, or better or worse. I was never a huge Uncharted fan. I played the games. I was like, nah, it's
But the
okay.
leaves move when you touch them.
Yeah, and he looks great lying in that puddle, but 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 I mean, I don't know if the game's gonna be good or not. I just know that generally speaking, just from if you look at other industries where the people who are the creative force behind whatever that is leave, the general quality of the product goes down. Microsoft, Bill Gates leaves, Windows just. Ugh.
I got a better example for you. Do you, if anyone is an RPG fan, you love Final Fantasy, you would know that the
Oh
last
no,
game
no,
Hironobu Sakaguchi
no.
even worked on was Final Fantasy X.
Yep,
He left after that, and 12 was actually a decent game.
fairly
It really
decent. Yeah.
was. But at the end of the day, the last one he worked on was Final Fantasy X,
Yep.
and it was the first one that actually had voiceovers. So
Oh
at that
god.
point, even though the American voiceovers were horrible, the
Mm-hmm.
game itself was pretty damn
It was a
good.
solid Final Fantasy game,
But the
aside from the
but the
voiceovers.
whole Final Fantasy X too, no,
Oh god.
no.
Mm-mm.
See,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
and the next game I think he made was Lost Odyssey on the Xbox 360,
And
which is
that was a Final Fantasy game for all intents and purposes.
like it was a great game. But
Yeah.
after he left Square, like their shit has been going downhill ever since.
Well, I mean, aside from Final Fantasy 12, which I mean, it's an okay game, but it's not really a Final Fantasy title. They haven't really. I mean, they'll slap the name on something, call it Final Fantasy, but they don't feel like Final Fantasy, and that's because the creator of the franchise no longer works there. So it's like, I don't know why you're still calling this Final Fantasy because it's not Final Fantasy. Call it Dave, Steve, Gene. I don't know, but don't call it Final Fantasy because I grew up with this franchise and I know what Final Fantasy is, and this is not
Call
Final
it Chrono
Fantasy.
Trigger 3.
Don't even call no God, don't call it Chrono Trigger, please, Jesus, no, 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 nothing can take the place of Chrono Trigger.
Well, you didn't like Chrono Cross?
Sorry, I gagged a little bit when you said
Oh, come on, man. What about Tobal?
oh, actually, that was kind of fun. I mean, no, the concept of a fighting game where you have RPG characters actually sounds kind of cool. Like a fighting, like if Square would take that concept and kind of flesh it out, like maybe have a fighting game with an open world, except you have RPG characters, I would be down with that. Just don't put Cloud Strife or Chrono Trigger in it. I'll be okay.
Alright, so let's see. Lupcio asked much more questions, but I'm going to answer one more question from him because we've got other questions from other people we got to answer.
Yeah.
So his last question is, "Hey Butterworth, where you been, homie?" And I've been around, just haven't really been making videos. You can always catch me on social media 24/7. Join the Facebook Gamers at Large group. Follow Gamers at Large on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Google Plus. All that jazz. So I'll make videos when I can, but I've just kind of had life going on, and it takes a little more time to make videos than I would like. So
Mr. Butterworth has been fighting a good fight.
fighting the good fight with life.
He's been fighting a serious fight out there.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so let's move on here. Alright, so the Foxshot asks, "Did anyone feel like they were on a Disney ride at the beginning of the Xenoblade X Direct when Bill Trendon was speaking?"
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. I can see that.
Not Disneyland, but I thought I was in the start of Back to the Future before they changed the ride at Universal Studios Florida. Just for a little bit. Just for a smidge.
Yeah, I can see that. Alright, Foxshot also asks, Xenoblade Chronicles, in Xenoblade Chronicles X, what style and color would you have for your Skell? What kind of weapons would you equip to it? This question goes for all the members.
Who wants to go first?
I'm just gonna say I'm not exactly sure yet. I mean, I would probably choose something with a little like royal blue in it, but I think I would go for like a long range type of camper scale. Yeah, I want to be able to pick you out from afar. So by the time you even get up close to me to attack, I mean, you won't have much energy left to even throw your first punch. So that's the way I feel.
Okay, all right.
I'll probably go with sort of a, I'm not sure, I have to look at the colors, but something with a purple or red. I'm a fan of those colors on when it comes to customization. Also, I'd probably go with more of a big bruiser type mech, up close in your face. I'll be the one like grabbing onto the monsters while everybody else is just like going to town on them.
Okay, I guess it's up to me now. I would go with a middleweight Skell with long-range weapons, except for I want that bomb flail that they showed, because that looked like some G Gundam stuff right there.
Right there, we have our perfect team right there.
Yeah.
Close range, mid, and mid long range.
Yeah, that bomb flail. I was like, oh shoot, that's some G Gundam stuff right there. Yeah, totally impractical weapon in real life, but my God, it looks fun. So yeah, that's what I want.
And our team name will be called the Strawberry Peanut Butter Sandwich.
With butter.
Well, yeah, peanut butter, yes.
Strawberry peanut sandwich with butter. Because I know people who put butter on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I'm like,
what?
Yeah,
Hold on. I actually work with someone currently that actually brought a butter sandwich to work. Oh. And I do mean literally
just
two
butter
pieces of Iron Kids bread with butter in the middle.
No sugar or nothing, just butter?
No, just butter. She's like addicted to butter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Enough.
Alright, so here's a question we have from Capable Tie 7. What are you expecting from each of the big three this E3? I think it will be similar to last year, but overall better for all of them.
Who wants to go?
I'll go first. I honestly think that we will see something from Nintendo for Devil's Third, because that is my #1 game I'm looking forward to, even more so than Splatoon. From Microsoft, from Sony, I expect a whole bunch of excuses and a bunch of trailers. I really do. Not to be a troll, but that's pretty much all we got last year. Microsoft, I don't know what they plan on doing really, but like what you said, Jamie, a repeat of last year, the digital director is gonna clown them completely, and the rest are going to brag about stuff they may potentially have coming out, and that's about it. Sony's gonna make third-party games appear to be exclusive, and Microsoft is pretty much just gonna release shooter after shooter after shooter.
Here's the thing for me, which a lot of people have seemed to have neglected, is that Nintendo has actually rented a hall this year. They're going to have a full stage presence.
Yeah, I know you meant it. You said that many times, where it's like a whole like auditorium.
Yeah, they rented out an entire auditorium, so they're going to have a big show this year. They're going to give us a lot more information on Shin Megami Tensei, Crossfire Emblem. I'm sure of that. We're going to get more information on stuff that hasn't released by that point. Probably more Xenoblade. We're definitely going to get more Star Fox. We may see a new Metroid. They've been hinting at it forever, and Retro hasn't
What about
done
Pokken
anything
Fighters?
else. We'll probably see Pokken Fighters. I wouldn't be surprised. Chances are Pokken Fighters will be playable at Best Buy. That's my prediction.
Could be.
And and I also want to say that I appreciate Nintendo for doing something no one else has done by bringing E3 to the people.
Yep.
Yep.
And now I will admit, I wish it was at every Best Buy, but even still, allow me to play Smash Brothers at a Best Buy before release. I didn't get a chance to play because I seen that long ass line that was like 6 hours long. I had just gotten off work, so I was like, man, F this. I want to play, but definitely not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, I can wait. I can wait 3 more months. But I thought that was pretty damn cool. I really did.
So I guess it's my turn. What do I? Okay, I'll do Microsoft first since they go first, right? E3 they go first.
Yep.
Microsoft is going to show some remasters of games from the 360 age, and because they said they're going to have more of a first-party presence, and that's what they got. It's remasters of first-party games. They might show their new Gears of War. That they're going to hype up, but it's probably going to be pushed back till next year. And of course Halo 5, which I swear looks like someone was playing a lot of Metroid Prime when they came up with that artwork. And Sony, which goes after Microsoft, is going to hype up, like Dr. Feelgood said, a lot of third-party games that they're going to use their Jedi mind trick on people to make them think, oh, it's actually exclusive, but it really isn't. And maybe you might see some more news about Uncharted 4 and what MLB The Show 15. Has that come out yet?
I don't know. I don't really follow sports.
If it hasn't come out yet, they're gonna talk about that because that's a first party game that they have. Nintendo is going to blow people's socks off once again because they figured out the formula. They cracked the code. Hopefully they'll have Robot Chicken do another intro and outro and little skits in between because that stuff was awesome.
I can see them going the South Park route this year.
South Park. I don't.
Don't get me wrong. Neither one is bad, but I can really see them breaking the mold and saying, "Let's do South Park."
I like South Park, but that Robot Chicken, though, that with Claymation Reggie just burning the dude. What about Mother 3? Yeah, I got something for you. Nintendo's gonna be friggin' awesome, and people are still gonna say that Nintendo because last year they just by stage presence alone they really hurt their competitors in terms of like consumer awareness and presence, and Nintendo they're gonna have to go for the juggler this time.
Yeah, I have another prediction. I also believe that Microsoft is going to announce a new console, not new successor, but new version of the current.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking like a 1 terabyte version that may be smaller. Because that's something they should have done at the get-go. But I think they're going to announce a 1 terabyte Xbox One, and they're going to announce some kind of special Halo 5 custom console.
Yeah.
I can see both of those things happening, and I can see Sony saying, well, here's another trailer for Uncharted. I mean, honestly, I definitely can see that. I can see them also have another trailer for the what was it, Ratchet and Clank movie?
Oh God.
Yeah, I can see them doing that, and I can actually see them announcing the Jack and Daxter movie too. I
You know
can
what?
actually see them doing that.
They'd probably do it because they might have the Sony experience and have you in movie theaters watching that long, boring conference like they had last year. But yeah, you can send your hate mail to me because yes, I thought Sony's conference last year was boring, and yes, I did go to the movie theater and watch it. But I just whatever. It is what it is. E3 is gonna be exciting because we still don't know. I mean, just if you're a Nintendo fan, because we don't know what Retro's been working on, and I suspect I'm not gonna don't get your hope up. I suspect it's gonna be the next Metroid game, and if it is, we're all gonna have babies.
And whatever third party company is making a game that's supposedly not rated R, I do believe it's Luigi's Mansion for the Wii U.
It-
That's my guess.
if it is, that'd be awesome. But really, if Retro comes out and says Metroid, the next entry in the Metroid Prime franchise, except we can't call it 4 because apparently they have something against calling games 4. It's Metroid, whatever, and just let me scan stuff in an alien world. I'm good. As Samus, I don't need to hear a voice actor talking and having nervous breakdowns, and I'll have a baby, and I'll call the baby I don't know, but I'll have a baby.
Oh man! All right, let's see here. All right, so last question here. This last question we're gonna do tonight because we have more, but we gotta cut it somewhere.
Yep.
All right, so Yin Yang Yao, last but not least, probably not going to be enjoyed by, probably not going to be enjoyed to be mentioned. But what did you get / plan to get before the Elite members offers end? Join Club Nintendo today, Mac. So basically, what did you guys get out of the Elite statuses?
I already had most of those games, to be honest. Physically, some I also had digitally, but I went ahead and chose. What was it? I actually chose Kid Icarus Uprising. No, sorry, that was what one of the regular was. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
For the Elite, damn it, I forgot what I actually chose. I think I really did figure what I chose on that. We'll have to look it up real quick. Go ahead, someone else.
I got Mario Golf. Because I was always like, I'm gonna buy this game. I'm gonna buy Mario Golf for 3DS. I'm gonna buy it, and I never bought it. And I was like, I can get it for basically nothing, so I'm gonna get it now.
I got Mario Galaxy too, and I was between that and Punch Out because both games are rare, and I was leaning more towards Punch Out initially because I was looking up to see how hard those games are to find. And I know you can get both, on the eShop for about $20. However, what kind of pissed me off was that I went to GameStop's website. Keep in mind, people, I have not shopped there. I have not purchased anything from GameStop in like close to a decade. But Punch Out new was $20 if you can, but they don't have it. And used it was $35. What kind of consensus does that make?
It's GameStop.
And
They do
so
that
how
stuff
can
all the time.
how can the used version be more expensive than the new? So then I say, you know what? I can't lie. Although I did want Punch Out and it seemed like the harder one to find, I say, I get Galaxy because that'll give me a lot more playtime than Punch Out would.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's like the highest rated game of all time, Galaxy 2. I think it's rated like a 97 or 98 on Metacritic, and I think Grand Theft Auto 5 tied it.
I thought Ocarina of Time was the highest rated game of all time.
No, I think Metacritic Galaxy 2 was like rated 97 or something like that.
Okay,
it's like the highest of all time.
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. Club Nintendo. I mean, it's sad to see it go because they used to have awesome physical prizes. But the digital prizes are good too. I mean, look, you can't use the coins. You got to do something with them. Might as well spend them on games that basically, so, smoke if you got them.
Yeah. Yeah. What did I get? I can't remember exactly, but I think I got Pushmo on 3DS. I think that's what I got. I can't remember. That's sad because I didn't get platinum status. I only got the gold status, despite buying like all the games and registering them. I guess because it's in my system. I have no idea. But yeah, I only got gold status, unfortunately. So
That's a damn shame, bro.
yeah.
Well, I mean, don't feel bad because, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were some games in there where it's like, wow, I mean, it was great, but like I said, they already had, I think they had Wonderful 101 and a couple of
Yeah.
others.
Yep.
And they even had Tropical Freeze. I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're giving that away? I'm like, but I already have this game. Like,
Yeah.
this game came out a year ago. It's like, I bought this game, like, on launch day. Like,
Yep.
damn you, Nintendo. Like, damn you.
I mean, that's the thing that kind of stinks about some of these digital. It's like I already supported you already. I already bought this stuff. They're good games though. I mean, and almost none of the games on here are of low quality. I mean, like the 3DS old school games. They got Metroid 2: Return to Samus. That's always a good one.
They even had a couple of the Legend of Zelda, like, I think Oracle of Seasons and, like,
Yeah.
A Link to the Past. I was like, wow, these are actually pretty damn
I
good.
mean, they got good stuff on here. I can't get mad.
But I did use my points. I had like a 1,020 points or something. I used my points to get Kid Icarus Uprising, and I think it was Donkey Kong and Mario Minis on the Move.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising, I seen that shit was like $85 on Amazon, and like no local retailer had it. I said, I'm not going to give into a scalper for this shit. I'll get it for free.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it never goes on sale digitally.
Like,
Nope.
hell to the no. I'll take the free one for 700 points, Mike.
All right. I think we should call it there for the night. And I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in, and thank the two of you guys for showing up. So it wasn't just me being a jackass for an hour and a half. But
You still are a jackass, but
yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm a jackass 24/7, so it would have been no different. So anyway, let's have some parting words from you guys. Ken, you're up first.
Glad to be here. This part of the game is a large. I am still working on some content. I've been very busy. I know I've been saying this for a while, but I am really working on it. So to my subscribers, just keep a lookout for that. I'm doing it little by little, but I will soon be releasing a flurry of content. As I always say, keep it gaming.
All right, Red Fox.
Oh Lord. Actually, I have been working on a huge amount of content. Stay tuned for the next month of May. Every Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing a podcast talking about what we think each of the major parts of E3 are going to be doing. So Microsoft, Sony, the third parties, and then finally at the end of May, Nintendo, leading up to E3. So look forward to that.
Except the last Saturday, because the last Saturday of the month we're going to be doing Splatoon, so don't look forward to a damn thing.
No, I'll play Splatoon, but I'm still going to do the podcast because, I mean, come on, you say the best for last. You got to. I don't know what Nintendo's going to do. I mean, they're gonna quit everything and just open up the NX and go completely mobile, and the Wii U's going to be thrown out of a window and run over 15 times. Maybe. You have to watch to find out. So yeah, look forward to that. Some new content. Doing a review of Age of Ultron next week. So look forward to that. That's it. And also gaming reviews, whatever comes out, whatever.
I will be sure not to watch that review until after I've seen the movie myself, because I'm in a few days. So I'm going to be in the internet moratorium.
You don't have to watch it. I'll do a spoiler-free review, and then I'll do a spoiler review.
No, just don't do one period until a week after the movie, man.
Well, okay, yeah, I can do that, sure.
Yeah, wait 1 week.
So, God, I want to see the Avengers 2, but the wife wants to go to D.C. and like do things there, like go to monuments and cultured.
In the summer, that's like the worst time to go.
No, next Saturday. It's not the
Jamie,
summer, it's spring.
Jamie, I hate to say this, man. I have all respect in the world for your wife, but to you personally, Jamie, man up, don't be a bitch. You take control. You can tell her, look, you can have every Saturday from after next all the way up until the one before Splatoon releases. But I'm going to get the last Saturday in April or the first Saturday in May. I'm going to get the last Saturday in May. You can have the rest.
Let me explain something to you, Ken. My wife is a nurse, and she accidentally brings things home that could kill me. Accidentally. All right.
Well, look,
So I
okay.
don't question the woman.
Well, no, it's not about you questioning her. If you got to sabotage on the low, just do it. Cause my wife's gonna actually be out of town. I want to actually go with her, but when she said, you know, you won't be able to come, I was like, okay, leave me here. I'll go see Avengers by my damn self.
I might do that when she's working, just not tell her.
All you gotta do is they just say, hey, you know what? The boss called me in. I had to work, so yeah, I won't be able to go out, and just take her to Avengers. She may catch you. She may be mad at you, but she'll always forgive you.
This is terrifying. You guys are talking about subverting this man, this newly married man's wonderful marriage.
Hey, I got married a month after he did, so we're in the same boat.
You guys are colluding to subvert your new,
Hey,
your
look,
newly
we have
formed
something in common.
marriages.
We must help each other, okay?
Well, I mean, my girlfriend's going to be out of town, and, you know, I'm watching it with a group of friends of mine. We're all comic book fans, all four of us, 2 dudes, 3 chicks. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and 4 arguments.
No, it's
You get
not.
that. Like, what?
She's going to be at work.
What, you with 2 chicks? What 2 bitches you with?
Well, I mean, you know, if you saw these 3 chicks, you don't have to worry about any
Okay, I
problem.
hope these 3 chicks are not listening to this podcast right now.
All right. Anyway, on that note, let's wish everyone a good week from the gamers at large.
I spoke too much.
And we'll see you next Sunday, or maybe it'll be a midweek podcast. That depends on what Jay feels. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.
Catch you later, guys. And to Mega, I love Ike.